You're on mute.
Hey there, hi there, ho there.
Well, look at Gordon Zimmerman.
So I talked to the Schaefer owners, and they're on board for having a big party with us and Shaver and Tidewater. So that's going to be really cool. They're going to have a booth. They're going to be on the park. They're going to they look for their 2026 budget. She's going to put in some money so she can donate to a donor.
Oh,
I know. That's what I told her. I said we need some party funds.
You're gonna call us to order?
can we call the meeting to order first?
I okay, cool, because I'm driving to White Salmon here in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
But I'll hang on. Okay.
We'll make it quick.
All right,
we're calling this public meeting to order of the Bridge of the God Centennial Celebration Advisory Committee. Today, February 27th at 5:30 p.m. 2025. Carrie Ann, can you please do roll call?
Sure. Commissioner Clute?
Here.
Commissioner Peterson is excused. Brittany Berge?
Here.
Janice Crane?
Here.
Luis Palermo is excused. And John Stippen.
All yours.
All right. Thank you very much. Any modifications, additions, and changes to the agenda?
Not that I know of. Let me share.
I don't see any. I mean, it's very high level.
Should be a one item agenda, I think.
Right. Any declarations of potential conflicts of interest? All right, seeing none, moving on to item number 2, approval of the appended meeting minutes from the advisory committee meeting on November 7th, 2024, and the committee meeting on January 16th, 2025. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Did we get an aye from everybody?
Except for John. Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Motion passes. All right. Moving on to discussions, updates on directives and tasks. So, Mr. Stippen, since you can't stay for the entire meeting, I will let you continue talking about your shaver idea.
Samantha Shaver called me on the phone, so excited about what I'd shared with these other people in her group that she said that they're on board. They're going to propose to have something put in their 2026 budget to donate to our Centennial deal. I said that we would send her information via email. I got all her contact information, and I'll forward it to you if I haven't done that already.
Awesome. Maybe they want to sponsor like a stage or something, like the shaver stage. Or
that would be cool, right? The shaver kegs. I don't care. She was very excited about it. She talked about I asked her about boats, about having shooting water in the river, and she put me on hold. She talked to a couple of people. She came back in about 10 minutes saying, there's one big boat that has 2 deep of draft, but there's one that is float, but they don't have, she's thinking they could use that one and bring it in down the river to shoot water in the sky, the whole time we're partying.
That would be fun.
I thought so too. She sounded great. I think everyone should talk to her because she really sounded really great. Jennifer Shaver.
Sweet.
All right. That's I can listen, but that's all I really have. Other than Tidewater people have not gotten all the way back to me. Their dispatch guy though was totally on board, and he, the head of Tidewater just retired at a big party for him. And but there's the new guy in line. He gave me his number. I left messages twice, so he's busy. He's a new head. Tidewater Park. Okay. All right. Thank you. We're working on it.
Okay. So just not to be the stick in the mud here, but if we so if anybody has a motion this evening that they were planning, we should do that now while we still have a quorum. Also, if we lose John Stippen, we should keep all of our discussions more as a single person discussing what it is that they, I mean, even to the, like, I'm being a stick in the mud, I know, but we should even, if we're going to confirm the next date, we should do it now for the meeting. Because we're going to be deliberating on a decision. I know I'm being a stick in the mud, but
It's all good. I know these got to follow public meeting laws. So, March, what's March look like for everybody? I'm free March 20th or 27th.
I'm good for either of those dates also.
I'm good for any Thursday in March.
you're on mute, John. Does the 20th or the 27th work for you? Okay. So
Let's shoot for the 27th then, since that's 1 month after today.
Carrie Ann, how does the 27th look with other meetings? We have a lot of budget meetings.
You're actually good. We only have like a communion chamber thing that day.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. So while we still have everybody on, do we want to talk real quick about Janice, your update with Mr. Landquist, and his art?
Yeah, sure. So Paul Landquist has accepted the proposal to go ahead and do the design. So the next step with him is he's going to submit an invoice for half of his fee up front, and then the other half will be due at the end of the art process. And then he needs to come out and do some preliminary sketches and meet with people who care about what the design looks like. So I needed to know if anyone else wanted to meet with him.
I'd like to be there.
Okay.
Apparently, John too.
What?
Apparently, John too. He's saying.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, on mobile, I can't, with the screen shared, I can't see everybody. So, unless I do that. There we go. Yeah, and then cool. So if there's more than just me there, then my second question of do you trust me to make design decisions doesn't matter. So, because you'll have more input.
I trust you as well. It's not that. I just want to see.
Cool.
Honestly, we should select somebody to make design decisions if he's not going to present it in a public meeting for us to give feedback on. So
Okay.
I'd love for us all to sit around at lunch and pick out the one we like the best, but we have to meet as a public body. I know. I'm sorry.
Let me just chime in that I think it's possible that if he does this design, that we do have another meeting. I mean, it's not like, it's September 2025 already. So we still have a couple more months. And so if this guy's going to get right on it right away, then yeah, I think we should bring it to the committee. I don't think we should just, oh, this is the one we're going to go with kind of thing. But that's my call too.
Yeah. So my question for the preliminary direction, not for the final design, it was
Okay.
what parts do we want incorporated? What previous work of his inspired us to ask him to do this? The preliminary stuff, not he hasn't done anything yet for me to make any decisions about is there room for sponsors on the poster? Does it need this? Does it need, so
I think fine.
I think we don't need to be at a public meeting for that part of it, right? That's just the final.
I think if we have Carrie, Janice, and John that would like to go to lunch with Lindquist, that those are our three folks, and we're not a quorum that way, and we guys can talk about whatever you want. So
great.
That works.
Only three.
Sounds good.
We'll schedule that. I know Genevieve would like to meet him. I know we'd like to have him sign one of the ones that we have down here in the office. So we'll make a little lunch out of it. You just let us know what you need, Janice.
Okay.
Excellent.
Do you want me to just keep going and finish my report, or did you want to go back to the
I wanted
order?
to ask a question about his stuff too. Did he explain how the pricing and everything works? It's $3,000, and then we just use his print shop essentially. So $3,000 for him to draw the art, and then he'll make whatever off of the top of whatever we print through his print shop.
Yeah, it's not his print shop. It's the one that I mean, yeah, it's one of the vendors that we work with.
Right.
I'm not sure what his arrangement with them looks like, but the custom art is the piece that we have a say over, and then we would order any merchandise that they produce from the people who actually made the referral to him for us.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Would be cool is if we do some art sales that day. If we're planning on selling at the event, right? If we
Mhm.
if we could get him to either personally sign each one, or we do a numbered version, so that this doesn't just hit the internet 3 months afterwards and anybody can buy stuff that they could have bought then, right? If we can somehow make it so that buying them that day at the event somehow makes it better or more special than waiting 6 months from now and just buying it off the internet.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know how many people are going to want to buy 100-year anniversary stuff like 6 months later if they weren't at the event or whatever, but who knows?
Fair, fair. I think you might see people who collect his stuff pick it up because they already have the entire Gorge collection, right? And so here's number 6 or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. I just want to see how that works and, hopefully be able to negotiate to use that design still on like the flags or whatever they're called, the banners that we would use for that may not be available through the print shop, so that we can still use the design to make a couple prints of our own through a different means if that print shop doesn't necessarily sell like the light pole banners and stuff like that.
Well, and presumably this was going to be like a poster too, right? That we're using to advertise the event. There's so much more to it that's not like that print shop makes like keychains and coffee mugs and
Right.
like the touristy stuff that you want to sell the day of. It's not an exclusive vendor contract from my understanding.
Okay.
I was thinking hoodies and t-shirts.
That all of it. Yeah. I think and maybe is it $3,000 for one design, or if he has a couple options, maybe, or is it going to be 3,000 for every design if we wanted a couple different things?
I feel like for the consistency of marketing, you would want to have just one design, maybe like a second orientation of something very similar,
Right.
rather than.
I wasn't
mean,
thinking
like,
completely different designs. I mean, how many ways can you design the bridge? But just ones, maybe different shades of color, and we could probably just mess with the one design and I don't know, whatever. We'll talk to him. I want to see what his ideas are.
okay.
All right, go ahead. You can.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I went ahead and submitted that grant to the State Capitol Foundation for the new exhibit for the museum and for the Capitol. I'm not sure what the timeline is on hearing back about that. I would assume that we won't hear anything until after at least the session is over. And then see here, David McCurry is super stoked for bridge programming next year. He was talking about doing another pub talk and a presentation last night when we were at the other pub talk, and potentially even some publications about the Bridge of the Gods. So that's might be a fun new partnership there. And then the regional tourism folks haven't really responded much to any of the Centennial stuff until I told them we did the measuring for the bungee jumping. And that got like a jaw-dropping reaction from people that were real excited. So now the tourism people are really on board for supporting the event.
Nice. Very cool.
And I got my hat.
I know. That was a fun day. Cool.
Yeah, that's all I had.
All right. Brittany, any updates on your end?
I don't really have anything.
All right. No worries. Yep, as Jana said, the Bungee guys came out and did the measurements they needed. They're to get back with us about kind of a draft of what they want to build on the bridge, to be able to have a platform essentially that will hold the people. We'll see what they come back with, but yeah, it would probably be like just a temporary attachment to the bridge structure, um, using existing bolt holes and stuff like that. So Dave McCurry's going to review the plan before it gets approved, just to make sure everything is kosher. So that's exciting, and hopefully we'll hear from them within the next month or two, before their busy season starts, so we can get moving on that. And then my only other thing I think is that I know we still have quite a bit of time before the party, but I want to make sure we're narrowing down like our focus. I think we threw a pretty wide net at first about all the different things we want to see at this party. So we are like, yeah, let's do a car show and an air show and all this stuff. Like, I think a lot of that is probably going to be too wide of a berth for us to try to focus on. And not all of it really pertains to the bridge. So if we can maybe make the bungee jumping as kind of our main fun area of focus, as well as having like an art and music festival, like just kind of a festival party that goes along with that, where we have, I don't know if any of you have been down to the Hood River Harvest Fest, but I was thinking something kind of like that, where they have a stage with bands and you have a bunch of vendors where you can walk around and look at different local artists and vendors and stuff like that. I don't know. This is just my idea. I'm happy to, take additional inputs, and it's a group effort to try to develop this, but I think keeping it on the more simple side and not trying to do a big auto show when we don't really have all the connections to do that, or an air show when we've kind of gotten knocked down by Wham for that, might be challenging. So we can make bungee jumping kind of the main draw for people to come down and watch that, as well as enjoying a weekend of music and a beer tent and local vendors. I don't know. Just some thoughts. The guys at the Bungee Oregon said that they still do have connections with Red Bull Air Force, though, and may be able to convince them, if not to do a fly under, at least do a fly over with some skydiving where they land on Thunder Island as well. So some more fun attractions and stuff like that are definitely welcome. But I just don't want us to put all of our focus and attention on trying to do things that might be a little out of our reach, as far as like the auto show and the air show piece. Do you guys kind of agree? Do you have
I
any
think that
feedback?
makes sense. I think it makes more sense just to focus the whole aspect a little bit more towards the bridge. I like the idea of just doing vendors and a beer tent and some food vendors and stuff in the park. With live music would be a lot of fun too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some activities for kids.
Mm-hmm.
Something
Yeah.
like that.
We could get a bouncy house or something for the kiddos, and have that as well. I think it can still be a very big event without the car show and the auto show. I just don't know how to. I don't know if any of us are capable. I don't want to knock down anybody else's capabilities, but trying to do an air show that we've never done before and we don't have the connections for, that kind of stuff, after talking to Wham and seeing like their limited capacity to support, kind of put the damper on that anyway. So
Right. And another thing that I was thinking about is just the real estate that would be required for a car show, right? That's a lot of parking.
we could still have Wham do what they did for the Hood River Centennial, which was just bring down a collection of like a dozen cars to show like the cars throughout the decades.
Yeah, and maybe like set that up down like where the boat launch is, up on the wall,
Right.
where you know, more of the parking and the green space in the park is going to be set up for the vendors and stuff. So
Hmm.
kind of, I'm not opposed at all to having like an antique car show. I just think on a smaller scale where it's not like the whole park.
Right. Agree. I don't know. John or Janice, do either of you have any feedback on that?
I love the idea of limiting it to something that's manageable, and I also think that it's the kind of event that a car club that wanted to come might just discover and show up to in their cars
You're
like
right.
normal people.
They do that.
They do that. So
And it would be
regardless of if
cool.
we plan it, I think we'll get a few antique cars that do show up just because that's the kind of overlapping market.
Right.
They do.
Saturday, honey, not tomorrow. I would think sometime around. Oh wait, sorry. Let me mute myself. Sorry, I'm saying goodbye here.
It's all good.
Tell them bye for us too.
um cool. Well, I agree with all of you. I think we need to figure out also what we want to use. I always forget his name. His PCT guy, Dave
Jason.
guy. What we want to use, if we want to use his services, and what would it be for, so that we can get a proposal from him on how to
You want
support
the
that.
agenda back up?
What? Oop. I think we lost Jeremiah. Anyway, yeah, I think we need to figure out like what we want to use his services for, if it's for sponsors or
Oh,
for
enable. Got it. Yeah.
wrangling the vendors and the food stuff,
Mhm.
all the logistics of it. And so, because I know the port has the ability to set up, like to order like the porta potties and get some of the logistics set up, like we're capable of doing that.
Right.
But how much of it do we want to actually take on ourselves versus like sub it out?
Right. Do we want to be responsible for going and seeking out the vendors that are going to be participating? Do we want to be seeking out all the permits and stuff required for
Right. And I think
all
that's
that?
probably something we want to hire somebody for. So I think Rob has been the one that's been in contact with him. So maybe we get a follow up for like a request for proposal from him, just to see how much it would cost to handle the permits and the logistics piece of it. Now that we kind of are narrowing our focus and know what we want a little bit more, I think it's probably a good time to get that proposal going so that we kind of know. And if it's something that he's interested in supporting,
And really, I think it's.
it was on our call.
I
think it's
think
also.
that
I think it's also.
like
sorry.
the herding cats aspect of vendor management too is something that we should outsource, just because the number of questions and the number of contacts that you have to keep track of to manage an event like this, that's really a huge labor lift. Just general cat herding in the contract.
Yep.
Can I
my
talk for a
body
second
working?
here? Oh, excuse me, Jeremiah.
Go ahead.
The Saber gal, of course, said that they already have these kind of booths that they set up in certain places like this. And she was kind of curious of what kind of band, what kind of music we're going to have. And, I remember having the junior, it was a symphony orchestra, saying that they could come here to and play in the park. And, we could do that kind of venue for part of the day, like for the morning. And then in the evening, we could do the rock and roll or the country western. I think if we can focus on maybe trying to get a band with a name and getting someone to sponsor that band, that would be the big draw also. I'm into music.
That's right.
It doesn't have to be, it could be bluegrass. I mean, it doesn't have to be, acid rock or anything. Or
I think back to Carrie's original point around sort of reining in exactly what it is that we want to do. And I think we can think too big, but I also think we can think too small. And so I really think we should rein it in. And once you guys say, you know what, this is what we want it to be, then from there we can figure out what needs to be accomplished, because some of the stuff you guys are talking about now, a band, porta potties, and vendors, and we do that every 4th of July. So
Right.
that we could bring that in-house, and it's something that we could probably handle and manage. Jeanette is kicking me from across the town right now, but truly, Parker knows how to order the trash cans or the garbage cans and order the porta potties. He knows where they go in the park.
So we could take some of that out of like the proposal request and say on our proposal, we're requesting somebody that can handle the permits, the vendors,
Well,
specifically.
So some of everything you guys have said so far on sort of the small idea, if it's anything that resembles 4th of July plus bungee jumping, we could handle that in house.
4th of July, but like times 10, essentially.
Okay, so if we're thinking 4th of July times 10, that's good, because that we can't handle in-house. And also you guys have got to consider what this park in this town can handle, because 4th of July pretty well blows out our park. And that's with like 5 vendors. Of course, there's fireworks at the end, right? Which you guys haven't
Everybody
decided
is
whether
there for the fireworks mostly, though. The draw. So if we get, I don't know if we'll get like the same kind of attendance for a festival like this, maybe. But it's also going to be all weekend long and not just one day. So there's going to be people spread out across like more time. They're not going to, I mean, some people might come every day, but.
So I really do think you guys need to figure out, these are the things we really want to try to accomplish and pull off. And this one, we absolutely have to do it. Even if in the end it dies and we can't pull it off, okay, it got scratched from the list. We didn't do it. But if we have the list of this is what this weekend looks like, then from there we can kind of go, okay, now we have something to shop out. And I think that was a little bit where
I think we're pretty much there.
Then I think that what we do is we get a calendar and we have start times and end times, and we agenda this out of what those days look like. And now we have something we can actually shop around and say, what would it take for you to put on this festival? How much would this cost?
Right.
I think he was a little overwhelmed that we were still in the stage.
Yeah, I think he was pulled in way too early. It's nice that he might be interested to know that. But I think it might be time to like just come up with an actual plan. I can put something together on some kind of Microsoft Office product and have it ready for the next meeting that we can walk through. And then one thing I wanted to also bring up, speaking of Janetta, is to make sure she doesn't book weddings that weekend.
Yeah, we got it crossed off.
All right, just making sure, because that could be absolute chaos.
That would be chaos.
So that weekend will be off limits for any other events. Cool. Well, I think
I have we'll be on the city's agenda for, I guess, their next meeting. You guys wanted us to go in, and the commission approved it, so we're going to go and let them know that we're interested in maybe doing something to the mural, whether it's a new mural or we redo the current mural, restoration project, replacement, whatever it is, before we go out to the community. Since the city paid for that thing, we want to get their blessing on it.
right.
Undoubtedly, the community will have things to say, and I don't want to take them by surprise. So
Right.
I'll be there. If anybody else would rather attend in my place and present this to the city, you're more than welcome to, but I'm glad to do it.
I'm happy to leave that up to you and have you report back. It will be interesting to see what the community says about that project, because I know a couple mural artists and I know that the Dalles has like that mural, they had that big mural competition and stuff. And now that we have a grant program, we could reach out to a couple artists, an artist or so, and maybe they could apply for a grant to help improve that.
And yes, the grant would be cool, but I also think that this is somewhat going to feed your guys's budget. Like if we say, hey, we're doing a mural, we can get costs on that. I mean, this committee is going to get a budget, and it's not going to be a small party that you guys are throwing. So we'll include that in the budget that, hey, we need $8,000 to $12,000 to redo this mural, whatever it is, so that we have, I don't know, I'm pulling out of thin air. But we have those numbers so that can all go in that line item. So it's real transparent. We can see this is what it costs to throw that party.
Right. Yeah, and I would, since budget season is coming up, I would like to at least try to get some, I mean, we're not spending it necessarily in this budget season, but we might be spending some of it in this upcoming budget season. So we kind of need to take a look at what that's going to look like. I know we still have some budget left to spend. Well, we haven't spent any budget yet. We're going to give some of it to Paul Anquist. But after that, like, I don't know if we hire somebody to be our logistics coordinator for everything, like if they're going to need a payment up front for some of the work that they're going to start on and what that looks like. So we need to start drilling down on all of that kind of stuff.
You know,
Cool.
have you guys been down to, like in the last 25, 30 years, anybody go to PIR or see that long mural they had on the east end of the wall there? It was all the bridges and all the buildings and the Willamette River from Mount Hood to Mount St. Helens. I mean, it was really kind of a cool mural. The artist that did that got trucking companies to pay for a lot of the stuff that they used by putting the trucks over the bridge, the boats in the river, and it could turn into a, like, you know, kind of an ad thing. But if you're thinking about getting funding for that, that might be an idea. I don't know. Just trying to swing that out there.
Thank you. Yeah, I just know, well, just from personal experience with artists, like if the community votes to restore it, I think it'll be a different kind of person or artist that we would have to find that would be willing to restore a piece of work that's not theirs. A lot of artists don't want to really touch other people's work. So we'll kind of see what comes of that.
You need a restoration artist.
Yeah. A restoration mural artist.
Yeah.
That's someone very specific. Might actually cost more to find somebody to restore it than it would to just do something new.
Would be interesting, John, to find out or know if that bronze eagle is going to be done or close to done by then. It would be a really cool place.
Yeah.
It'd be a really cool
It'll
place to unveil it.
That's a pretty cool idea, man. I'll find out for you this weekend.
We'd love to unveil it there. I know that they've got big plans for that thing, so probably maybe not a big enough party for an unveil for them, but if it goes on a tour and the tour has to start somewhere, we'd love it to start here for sure.
Yeah, it's either that or in Seahawks parking lot. You know, that's what my idea was, 8 years ago. So, yeah, that's cool. They're wanting us to do the patina on it. And Brenda said over her dead body, but she'll probably end up doing it, which means I'll be doing it because she'll just show me where to go and I'll get it because that's how we do it. I know. It's exciting. All right, good. I'm happy for you guys. Sounds like we got a party. I really want it to be a party.
It's gonna be a party.
I want it to be a party. And I want
it's just not going to be an air show, or probably not going to be a car show either, but it's going to be a party.
I'm not a car show guy. I do like the idea of, the old River Highway kind of theme and the old, US 30 theme and the river theme and the bridge theme all tying together, but maybe that's too much for people.
Might be too much for us.
Yeah, right. Yeah, sure. I'm just an advisor.
Cool. Are there any other go backs before we adjourn? All right. Well, I think we covered a lot in this meeting and we're productive. So I appreciate everybody joining today and we'll talk again in a month.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'll get everybody those emails and phone numbers. I'll see you. Thanks, Jeremiah.
Thank you. See
Thanks
ya.
for your service, everyone,
Bye.
hosting. Bye.